We're live.
We are live. What is
What's
up,
everybody?
world?
On Twitch and YouTube.
Thought about doing Yedit or Twitter too, but I don't even know what that looks like. So
We're not there yet.
Sticking with these platforms for now. Thought about doing Yedit or Twitter too, but that's creepy.
Yeah, mute that.
All right, man.
You ready to do this? Get the Audacity rolling.
Oh, good call.
Get that moving. Can you mute your computer too?
Yeah, I just muted both things.
Thank you. Sorry, I was hearing myself talk. It was weird.
Yeah, you never.
That's why I don't listen to the pod.
You don't listen to pods.
Listen to the pod.
All right, take it away, Joey.
All right. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys, your home for hot takes and substandard analysis. I'm the lawn boss, laying them stripes, and with me tonight is Chris, the Statsman Gorman. Hit him with the stats, Chris.
Hey. All right, the one stat I have so far, I'll get better stats next week, but right now the Bulls are 3-0 in NBA preseason basketball, and it probably means nothing. The Lakers are 0-5, but it's kind of fun to see.
I think they're setting themselves up perfectly. It's got to mean something, right?
Two of them are against the Cavs, and the Cavs got some guys, so
Cavs
maybe
guys.
I like it. The Cavs are 1-3. They have a win in there somewhere. So, anyways, we're gonna dig into this way too deeply already. So,
yes, we will. Well, we are alone tonight. It is a 1v1. Titus is out hiking the Great Smoky Mountains, doing that anniversary life. And
10 years. Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
Titus and his bride.
And our producer, the professional, has decided he's not interested in hanging out with just Chris and I. Apparently, he needs Titus to be happy, so he has ditched us as well. So it's just the two of us tonight. We're gonna do a little 1v1 here. See what we get. See how it flows. So we got a little bit of a stacked lineup tonight. We got some good topics, some current news, and then a little bit of Bulls chatter. And then we got a new segment that Chris came up with. We'll see how that goes, and we'll see if we get any comments from the streams. All right, you ready to do this, Chris? You ready to go?
Let's go.
Let's do it. All right. So first topic, I think it's on everybody's mind. Just came up yesterday or day before. Ben Simmons. So Ben Simmons has reported to Philadelphia. I believe the plan was for him to show up later in the week. There were some talks going on. It kind of wasn't public knowledge. And then all of a sudden he just appeared. He popped up before the Brooklyn game and he was there for his COVID test. And it sounds like he's ready to get back into things. I believe his quote was that he wanted to prove a point. He believes he has proved said point and has returned. Chris, what do you think about Ben Simmons? What do you think about the Sixers? What do you think this does for their record and their kind of seeding in the playoffs here?
Honestly, I don't know if this really does anything. Like, yeah, he reported. He needs to report. Like, there's too much money to be left on the table for him to actually walk away from this. Like, Kyrie's crazy enough to do it. We'll get into Kyrie in a second. But Ben Simmons, I don't think he's that crazy to just completely set out. I think he'll pull like what James Harden did last year, which makes this even more hilarious that Daryl Morey left Houston for Philadelphia just to literally have the same situation back-to-back seasons. So, I think he was in Philly, but yeah, anyways. But one thing that I just read about with Ben Simmons, there's like all these leaking things that you don't hear anything from Ben. Like, obviously he's not even wanting to talk to the team. He's ghosting the team. Joel Embiid doesn't talk to him all summer. And there's 9 teams that are listed he's interested based on their front offices. And it's Cleveland, Detroit, Houston, Indiana, Minnesota, Portland, Sacramento, San Antonio, and Toronto. And Portland and San Antonio are kind of in Toronto, I guess. 3 of the 9 are really like actually respected franchises. Well, no offense to Detroit, Houston, and all the Minnesota, but it looks like he's just willing to go almost anywhere. He just wants out, and
that's kind of why it makes it so much weirder to me that he showed up. He's been posting all these things, dropping all these little hints that his game's good. He's dropping YouTube videos where he's not missing any shots. you know, if you're trying to make a point and that you're really committed to not playing another game for this team, why do you show up?
Yeah, I think really what happened was like when push came to shove, we got down to the wire. I think we'll find out more on Friday. There's something going on there where Doc Rivers mentioned he met with Ben Simmons twice yesterday and hasn't ruled out that the point guard could join the team on Friday in Detroit for their fifth preseason game, for their final preseason game. So Simmons is would clear protocol that day, so he could play Friday. This could be old news already. Who knows?
If you're a player on the 76ers, are you welcoming him back, or are you just saying not interested?
So like personally, I think I'd welcome him back. Like I understand, like this is rough, man. Like what happened this last season, like at the end of the day, just like put everything behind you and just move on. Let's try to win a championship as a team. You're on your contract here. Let's just roll this. Let's just roll it. So
yeah, but how do you? I mean, I guess my concern is the chemistry between him and Embiid. Embiid seems like a pretty non-sensitive guy, kind of thick-headed. Doesn't take everything personally, and he's come out and said that the team was built around Simmons and allowing him to do things that are going to make him a better player. And Simmons is basically saying the exact opposite and kind of putting it all back on him. So I'm curious to see how that reaction goes. It's going to be a test for Doc. He's got to get these guys together and have them all see the same goal at the end of the season here.
Yeah. I don't have much else to say on this. Like, it's just more like I'm excited to see what happens. I think no one's gonna revolt against him when push comes to shove, when he actually is playing in practice. So
what do you think seed wise? Where does this put them? Does it move them up? Does it move them down? Do they stay where they're at?
I got him third.
Okay.
I got him third, which I think was high. I think I had him as low as 6. I still think this team's just so talented defensively. They're so big with Embiid, Seth Curry, Matisse Thybulle's got another year on him. I can't imagine this team, even falling below 60 without Ben Simmons. So if Ben actually plays, they should be a top 3 team for sure. What do you got here, Joey?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play the season there. I think he's going to get traded. I think him coming back certainly helps his trade value if he actually plays. The only way for teams, I think, to become interested in him and willing to make a deal is if he plays and he plays well. I think the No Dunks guys yesterday, or maybe it was today, we're talking about that. His first game out, he should just go out and shoot. Every shot he gets should just be a pull-up three-pointer, whether he makes all of them or not. Just, hey, I'm just going to jack up every shot and show you that this is what I'm doing. Whether he shoots himself right out of town or he makes them all and gets traded, under good circumstances, that'd be fun to see.
Go ahead. I was gonna say he shouldn't be afraid to shoot 3-pointers at this point. There's nowhere you can go but up from this point, right?
Exactly. Yeah, so I think they're still middle of the pack. I think that 5-6 spot is probably where they're going to land. I think they still have the issue that Embiid needs to stay healthy for a full season. We haven't seen that. I know he carries a lot of minutes and plays hard. We'll see if our all you can have him friend Tobias Harris can kind of get off the team as well. So a lot of question marks around the 76ers there. And the East, as we've talked about a few times, is not an easy place to be. So they're not going to have smooth sailing. Which brings us to another topic in the East. A team with a little bit more promise, I think. A little bit more smooth sailing, even with the recent news. So Kyrie Irving, obviously unvaccinated, not interested in getting the vaccine at this point in time. We'll see if that changes in the future, but a lot of back and forth. Was he going to just play in away games? How are they going to practice? The Nets had said they were not planning to make any adjustments for, changing where they practiced. Obviously they can't move home games. So yesterday they came out and said until he decides to be vaccinated, he will not be a participant in practices or games. So he will not play any games, home or away. And will not practice with the team at all. So Kyrie at this point is effectively out. Put him on an injured reserve. He is done. Chris, what are your thoughts on Kyrie? Well, let's start with the impact to the basketball side of things, and then if we want to dive a little bit into the personal side of it, we can get your opinion on that.
Yeah. So on the court, the Nets are still the number one team, I think, in the league, really, especially in the conference. We saw a little bit last year with Harden. With Harden on one leg in the playoffs, he was still a threat when he only got 8 points in Game 6 or 7 of that playoff series. And Kevin Durant with a torn Achilles coming back from that and being able to still play at a high level. If Joe Harris just makes a couple threes, they're on to the Eastern Conference Finals. They got Patty Mills. Patty Mills is kind of like that safety blanket. I've been hearing a lot about Patty Mills lately, where he's good, but he's getting talked up like he's the next big thing. He's the next late bloomer, and like he's fine. He's Australians love him. And they still have Blake and LaMarcus Aldridge is back. That's one of the weirdest. There's so many weird things that happen. LaMarcus Aldridge being back, after nearly dying, it feels like.
Yeah.
And Brooklyn's still going to be fine, I think, even without Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, I think I'm 100% on board with that. Obviously, last season they were barely together. All three of them at the same time. I think what is the stat I heard? Like they effectively had like 1.7 of them at any given time. So less than 2 of them were playing. If you look at like how many minutes and games that they all played together, and they were still a big toe away from progressing on. So I don't know if it makes a huge impact. I do know if it makes a huge impact. I don't think it does. I still think they got to be a favorite if they're healthy. Obviously, Harden wasn't healthy at the end of last year, and neither was Durant. Obviously, he had some COVID issues and the fake COVID, false positive, whatever that was, that took him out. So they had some issues last year, and they still managed to do what they did. So I fully expect that they're going to have no trouble operating with it without Kyrie Irving. And if he does decide to come back, even more power to him. I don't think he's going to come back. I think this might be the end. I think this might be the end. This might be the end of basketball. Kyrie Irving.
He is 29 years old.
It seems like he's lost. Yeah, it seems like he's lost the interest. Right. He seems like he's much more interested in using his platform to do positive messaging and whatever it is. And good for him. If he's going to do it, I think we were talking about this earlier. So maybe we can dive into the personal side of it just a little bit. His stance is he's not anti-vaccine. He's anti-mandate. He's upset people are losing their jobs over choosing to not get vaccinated. However you feel about that, I think my biggest thing here is I don't want him to get upset that he's not allowed to play basketball with the Nets. I think, last season when he took his little hiatus from the team and didn't really tell anybody, he got kind of upset. He got a little razzled that people were concerned about it or, cared where he was. He seems to be accepting this message a little bit better. So, in terms of that, I think if that's what he wants to do, then, so be it. He doesn't owe us anything. He doesn't owe the team anything. I mean, he does owe the team something, but the team's obviously not going to pay him. So, they're not getting anything from him. He's not getting anything from them.
Yeah. And I think, so the more I think about this, that is kind of the best thing to say and the most best PR kind of response to kind of have, where it's like, no, I'm not anti-science. I haven't gotten the vaccine, but I'm not anti-science. Mm-hmm. I'm just mad at that you're trying to force this on me. And it's like, yep. Okay, dude, like at the end of the day, like do what you want, but can you just, do your research and see that you should get the vaccine? And, there's a whole can of worms we can go through there. And that's not the point of this podcast. I'm trying to keep it more just basketball related, but I think he really just doesn't want to get vaccinated. I think he's scared, or not scared, but I think he's read research that says, it could do things to your body that you're not even aware of. So I think he's using this as more of an excuse than what his actual true belief is.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is, that's kind of why I'm saying I think he might be done with basketball. It just seems that he's looking for, I don't think he's looking for the reason, but he seems much more interested and much more concerned with using his platform to, fight whatever social justice issue he thinks he needs to fight at that time. So be it.
He'll get into politics. And with that being said, let's talk Sorry. Let's
hang on. Hang
move
on. We've got a comment from Baskets Be Awesome in the stream. She asked, they ask, what if COVID didn't happen? How do you think that would affect the last 2 seasons?
Should we save this for our what if segment? Or should we just talk about this now because it's a comment in the
it's a comment in the chat. It's a comment. Let's get it.
Yeah. Thanks, Baskets. Appreciate you.
What do you think, Chris? How does it
what if
seasons look? COVID didn't happen.
It didn't happen. So I looked at this for last season. I didn't think about this for last 2. If you look over the last 2 seasons, the Sixers are probably in the finals instead of the Heat.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to go back to that. People would say the Bucks, but I still think they would be the Heat or the Sixers.
Yep.
Then, I still think the Lakers were the best team. They had some lucky moments, but everyone's got lucky moments. So I don't know. I still think that it'd still be the Lakers. Actually, before we talk about last season, what's your take on? I still think the Lakers would have won even the bubble series.
Yeah, I think the Lakers would have won the bubble series. I think my biggest takeaway from that first season would have been 100% that the Heat aren't the ones playing the Lakers. I think that's just the most obvious one. I think they just got hot at the right time, and they had the run of all runs. That to me is the biggest change we would have seen in 2 seasons ago. Last season, all right. I'll throw out one thing. Last season, the Bulls, I think this is an obvious one. The Bulls make the playoffs last season without COVID.
Wait, why? What is?
Well, right. So COVID isn't a thing. Zach LaVine doesn't go down at the end of the season for a stretch of like 12 games when they were pretty much sitting. At one point they were the 6th seed or 7th seed. 6. Yeah, they were at 6 at one point.
Yeah, they were 6 at maybe even 5 for like a
day.
They
were 6, right. So and then they went on that stretch where LaVine was out for 2.5 weeks. And they just kind of slid because they had nobody at that point. So I think the Bulls win, a handful of those games and keep the pressure on. I think they would have overtaken the Wizards for sure.
The
Wizards. So yeah,
that's
Bulls would have been.
I'm so happy you said that. That's like the most Joey.
My homer take, right?
Yes, that's the best. Where it's like, oh, the Bulls would have been the playoffs if it wasn't for COVID. I don't know if I believe that. Like, there's so many stipulations that happen because of COVID, man. Like, life is completely different because of COVID. It's insane, like, to really try to like go down and to think about all the different scenarios that could have played out there. So that's a tough one, but sure, the Bulls could have been the playoffs. I can get behind that. Do you think there would have been fewer injuries? Because I do have a what if thing later where I want to talk about all the injuries that happened last year. Do you think there would have been fewer injuries if it wasn't for COVID, or do you think that would have happened regardless?
Because
I kind of think that there would have been like fewer ACL tears, like
Yeah, I guess.
Murray, but
ACL tears don't happen from. I guess they do, but those are such freak accidents. The turnaround time would have obviously been longer.
It would have been a standard season, and that's kind of what led to all the injuries. Like LeBron was on a tear in the first half of last year, and then it caught up to him. So
yeah, it's a good one. We got another comment. Then we'll get back into we'll get back into our agenda here. What if your favorite player was switched with your least favorite player for the new season? Ooh.
What if your favorite player was switched?
Oh my gosh.
With your least favorite player. Okay.
So that means LeBron James is on the New York.
For Zach LaVine?
No. He's on the New York Knicks, and Derrick Rose is a Laker.
I hate that.
I hate that too. It's not that exciting though.
Well, I think I was gonna say for you it would be Zach LaVine traded for LeBron.
No, Derrick Rose is still my favorite player active in the NBA.
D-Rose, yeah.
D-Rose. Yeah, the Lakers definitely lose that battle, unfortunately. But
that's a funny question. What if your favorite player was switched for your least favorite player? So like my favorite player, I guess, I don't even really have a favorite. Like I love Giannis, I like Luka, I like Kobe White, like to have those guys in the same groups. Like Chris Paul for Kobe White, that'd be kind of annoying. I'm not really a big Chris Paul guy. Well, for Kobe White, I guess that would work out fine. He could play. He can play with the second unit with Lonzo starting. But Maybe Jokic. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's tough to like because Jokic. I need to find out my favorite players. I really have a lot of like Jokic is great. Luka.
Jokic for Westbrook.
Yikes, that would hurt.
That's a good trade for
Well,
the Lakers.
Durant. I hate Durant. So like Jokic for Durant.
Ooh,
That could be interesting.
that'd be kind of fun.
I'd be so mad because I actually like the Denver Nuggets. If they got Durant, it's like, oh great, now you got Carmelo again. How did this work out for you last time? But I mean, if Jokic went to Brooklyn, I still think Brooklyn would be the favorites with Jokic and Harden. That'd be
I think they might be more favored.
I like that one. Great question, Baskets. That's
a great question.
Jokic for KD. Let's make it happen.
All right, let's jump back in. What we got going on here? So, all right, Bulls preseason highlights. So I think everybody knows my opinion. I obviously they're going to win the finals because they're 3-0 and they're clearly going to go 4-0 come Friday. Chris, have you watched any of the games? What have you seen? Give us a non-blinders, non-see red opinion of.
Obviously, I've been up here in Minnesota where it's getting cold and dark very early, very fast.
Yeah.
But we have free NBA League Pass right now, free preview during all preseason games. So I've been able to watch the Bulls this preseason, and it's been enjoyable and a treat. This team is so exciting. Highlights, obviously, everyone's favorite new player is Alex Caruso. I think he had a thing come out where he was a little upset with all the cheers he's getting. He thinks it's kind of like ironic cheers in a way, where he's hoping he can, get those earn those cheers, I suppose, later on. And then, but that's my high. My low is, and I've discussed this in our group chat, I'll say it here, is DeMar DeRozan. Everybody that's talked about like who's low on the Bulls this year, and people are low on the Bulls. Don't like the DeMar DeRozan trade, and he just hasn't looked great for me during the stretches that I've watched him. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think he'll be great. I think I said this before. I think the rotation would be cool to have him kind of stay on the court with the second unit a little bit more to work with Kobe and Caruso, and maybe get some more playmaking there. But I don't know, man. It'll be interesting. I think the team overall looks great. Vucevic, having him in the paint, just having that kind of like safety net in the paint like that is so big and so underrated. So I'm excited. I'm really high on the Bulls. And I think more people should be than they are. So what's your thing, Joey? What do you got going on here?
I kind of like the idea of doing the highs and the lows. So my high would be Alonzo, who I think we were all kind of iffy on that potential trade in the season. We didn't want to give up a ton for it. It kind of happened without having to give up anything for it, which was, well, I guess we gave up a little bit, but it was real good. Real good move.
Gave up more for DeMar than we did for Lonzo.
Yes, and he has been playing fantastic. What was it, 2 nights ago? Or, yeah, whatever the last game was. I think he had 5 threes. I'm trying to find the score here. Yeah, Lonzo. Okay, so he played 34 minutes, 10 points. It must have been the game before that against the Pelicans. Man, they just blew out these teams. Good night. Lonzo had 19 points in 25 minutes with 5 rebounds and 4 assists. So just the way that he's kind of kept them all together, everybody looks like there's a little bit more fluidity to the game, a little bit more ball movement. Watching Zach move off the ball has been just super exciting. It's not just this pass it to him at the top of the key and cross your fingers that he's going to do something for you. It's actually like real basketball happening, which is most exciting to me. I think there's still some work, Chris, you call this out, to be done in the pick and roll with Levine, Alonzo, and Vooch. So they got some kinks to work out there. It looks like everybody's moving a little bit quick off of the pick and roll and not kind of letting everything fall into place. But major down. I think I'm with you on DeMar. Seems like in flashes you can see why they think he's a good piece, and then there are just stretches where you're kind of scratching your head at why is he doing what is he doing, and is he making the impact? It seems like Billy is kind of making the move that DeMar is going to be the leader of the second group, kind of that when they sub out Vooch and Lonzo and Levine, that DeMar is going to stay on the floor. So that means you're going to get DeMar with Kobe and whoever else they bring in the game, whether it's Javonte Green or maybe some IO. So, DeMar coming along is going to be the piece. If he can average 15 plus a game, I think the Bulls are going to be in real good shape.
You're talking DeMar for
I'm
15?
talking DeMar, yeah. If he's going to get you 15 consistently on like a pretty good efficiency, not taking 20 shots a game, I think they're going to be in real good shape.
That's not even asking for too much.
It's not.
He's never averaged below 20 points a game in the last 8 years. And last season he averaged 6.9 assists, which was a high. So 15, like, and maybe go 17, 18. But yeah,
Okay.
I'm with you on. I'm with you on the lower. Yeah, like just be more efficient. He's been more efficient his last 2 seasons with efficient field goal percentages above 50% for the first time.
He doesn't need to be. He doesn't need to be the guy, and I think he's comfortable with that. I'm just concerned in that second group that he's going to try and be the guy when it still needs to be just a fluid game.
Yeah, well, I think with Caruso and Kobe. Oh, sorry, but keep going.
Yeah, well, Caruso and Kobe. Yeah, obviously that's going to be something to watch. Caruso is a fun guy to watch. That dude doesn't stop moving.
He's all effort.
I love it.
I can't believe the Lakers really let him go. Like they kept THT,
who had surgery, right? So he's gonna be out for a while.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like LeBron loved Caruso, and you kind of see why. He always likes those big energy guys. And I'm kind of happy. I remember when it was first introduced that Caruso was signed over Tice, because that's essentially what it was.
Yeah,
we didn't re-sign Tice. We took Caruso over him. I was a little bummed out. I was like, I kind of like Tice, but now that I see him, like, no, Tice is very replaceable. Tony Bradley's fine. Alize Johnson. Every time I saw his name before, I thought it was like Elise. Now I'm hearing Alize.
Stacey King is saying Alize, so I'm gonna ride with Stacey and just go with Alize.
He looks like a big energy kind of guy. He can maybe be like a poor man's Bobby Portis.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. I'm also super excited about the rookie Io DeSumo.
Oh yeah,
that dude's got some game.
He's got a lot of heart. Yeah,
he can hit that little floater. He's a good ISO player, so I'm excited to see him get some minutes and put in some time. Maybe it's just because of the hair, but maybe we got a little baby John Morant coming our way, huh? Just gonna throw it.
I don't know. I mean, hair.
Throw it out there.
Who else had hair?
Just about the hair.
Kobe White had hair.
Yeah, next Tony Parker.
Who was the guy that had hair that then cut it?
Shout out to you, Titus. What do you mean had hair and cut it?
He had hair and then he's like, Elfrid Payton. That guy had like the best hair, and then he like was bombing his first 2 or 3 years in the league, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna shave this off.
That could be.
It's just like in Orlando. I'm pretty sure it's still in Orlando.
That could be a fun Chris midseason special. The top haircuts, the top hairdos of the NBA.
Yeah, that's right. I got hair up here in this hat. I'm just not.
It's got the man bun.
Showing it off right now.
All right. Bun. Should we move on to the new segment?
All right, I'm excited for this. I'm just gonna say I call this segment "What If." Joey, I'm really excited for you to read what I wrote here, and this is based on. So for everyone who does not know what If is, like Joey was before I was explaining this to him. What If is a Marvel series on Disney Plus, talking about different plot lines that could have happened. What if? I think the first one was like, what if Captain Carter became, or what if, Carter became Captain America? So we have a female Captain America instead, and there's just a bunch of different plot lines based off of that. And so my idea here is with basketball, it's like, all right, what if there was a different injury? What if a basket was missed? What if this happened? Like, what are the ripple effects of this? And kind of went into Basket's question earlier with what if COVID didn't happen? That's a very large question. I kind of play into that a little bit. I love the question. I got 3 questions here, but Joey, if you can take it away and just start off for us. Appreciate it.
I got to try and do this intro here that Chris wrote out. All right. Winning a championship is more than a linear path. It's a prism that can branch out into endless possibilities, where a single injury, missed basket, and different decision can create multiple realities. We are the watchers. We will watch only one vast reality. But what if there were an infinite amount of outcomes? What could have happened? What if?
Yes.
And the first one is, what if the Bulls make it to the NBA Finals?
So
Chris, take it away.
this, I think we've been hyped over the last 2 weeks, week and a half, really, with the Bulls preseason. And it got me thinking, what if the Bulls make it to the finals? What needs to happen for the Bulls to make it to the finals? There are crazier things that have happened. You know, in What If, in one of the episodes, Loki takes over Earth because all the Marvel superheroes died. Spoilers, things. But like that wouldn't happen. Who would have thought that would have happened? That's crazy. So the Bulls making the finals, I think, is even more likely than that ever happening, even though it's you can just make it up. Anyways, so I listed 6 different things that have to happen around the league for the Bulls in order to make it to the finals. KD on Brooklyn Nets re-injures his ankle. KD's got to be gone. I don't think the Bulls have a chance if it's KD and Harden healthy. Even if Harden's not healthy, I think if KD's still healthy, he can beat the Bulls. So KD's got to get got. Giannis has to suffer an injury. Sorry, Giannis, but he's the only guy in the Bucks. If the Bucks don't have Giannis, they're kind of done. Like, Middleton and Drew Holiday are nice, but Giannis is obviously that full team. And then with the Sixers, Ben Simmons does not come back. And then Embiid gets hurt. Embiid just has to get a little hurt. It doesn't have to be season ending, just enough where you can only play like 20 minutes a game. We got Lowry and Jimmy, the 2 alphas in the Heat that just don't gel very well. The Pacers continue to pace. And the Hawks is the toughest one. This is why I'm really high in the Hawks this year. We got Trey regressing with the new foul rules, which we didn't even talk about the new foul rules, but I'm loving it so far. Harden's getting after it with the refs, and Curry's like, what the heck is going on here? I'm really excited for those new rules. So Trey regresses because of that. And DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish do not develop any further. And then John Collins gets hurt. So there's a lot that has to happen for the Hawks, but I don't know, man. I like this. Anything else you want to add to this, Joey? Or
So I think what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll pick the one that absolutely in my mind has to happen, like the 100%. And then I'll pick the one that is the least, that absolutely that doesn't need to happen, that the Bulls could overcome. So I think the biggest one that would have to happen for the Bulls to make it to the finals would be Giannis suffering the season-ending injury. I think I'm going to buck your trend that the Bulls would have zero chance against Durant and Harden. I think they'd have a harder time stopping Giannis just based on their size. I think they could score with the Nets. I don't think they could score as easily against the Bucks and then simultaneously stop Giannis from inflicting just massive damage on him. I think he would just destroy Vooch in the paint. It'd be 50 burgers all night.
I love that. Oh, yes. Okay.
I think they both realistically need to happen, but I'm trying to pick one here. I'm trying to pick one that I think would be more necessary than the other. You can get lucky. They might be able to just outscore the Nets. The other one, I think the Ben Simmons one, I think that one, I think that team's going to be just absolute shambles, whether Ben Simmons is there or not. I know I said that last year a lot, and then they ended up, doing all right, but they did kind of fizzle out. So they kind of fulfilled that prophecy, I guess, at some point in time. It just took them longer than I expected them to. So I think, if that team is together, the same as it was last year, I think the Bulls could have a chance to take them down if everything's clicking. Their offense, I think, is better than the 76ers offense at this point.
What's your take? I'm curious about your Heat. The Heat was a tough one for me to really think of because I didn't want to just do injuries for each team. It's like,
I feel like Lowry is okay not being an alpha. You got him listed here as, both alphas. And I feel like he's kind of comfortable, seeing how he kind of handled the whole Toronto situation where he kind of knew he was out, he knew it was done and he didn't really sulk over it. He kind of just did his thing and went about it. I think he's okay kind of being the kind of quieter person who's just going to go out there and do his work and let Jimmy, run his mouth and do his thing. I also think that, the Heat have one of the top coaches in the league in Spoelstra. So if there's somebody who's going to be able to kind of get those two to work together and make it happen, I think Spo can make it happen.
It's interesting. And then lastly, the Hawks. How are you on the Hawks right now? I can't remember if you went over or under on them.
I think I went over, but maybe I don't know. I might have called them like right at their mark.
You're under. You're slight under.
I'm slightly under. Okay, yeah, I think they're overrated. I don't know why, and I feel like this is the consensus that I'm hearing from a lot of people is that like everything should be fine, but you just don't have this confidence factor in them. They're a young team. Trey is going to do Trey things, but I think teams are going to be a little bit wiser to that this year. I think last year he was kind of coming on the scene and it was all fresh and new and everybody kind of had to figure out how to handle it. Your note here about the new foul rules are definitely going to be interesting. I think it's more of the rest of the team, right? Trey's going to do what Trey does, but our Cam Reddish, our John Collins, are all those guys. Is Bogdanovich going to be, along? Is Clint Capella going to give you more than like 4 points a game? Like, are all these things going to come together for them to be better than they are? And if they're not going to get, I don't want to call it lucky, but they're not going to have the same kind of run that they had last year. I mean, we forget the beginning of last season, right? They had lost like 12 in a row or something.
Yeah, and they fired the coach. Like
right.
I forgot that until I was doing some research. I'm like, oh
right.
shoot, this team's kind of
They haven't changed anything, so they literally have the potential to win 14 games or maybe lose 14 games. So you never know.
The coach helped, and I think they'll be better as a result. But yeah, I don't know. I think maybe too many people are thinking the Hawks will just assuming they'll get better, but there's a window that the Bulls just kind of take it over, and I think that's what I'm laying out here. So all right, now that's what has to happen around the league, and then being positive with the Bulls. What has happened for the Bulls? And I think Joey, with your thing earlier, with you think they can compete with the Nets. I think you're thinking about a lot of these. I got 5 points here.
Well, I didn't say they could compete with the Nets. I said they'd have a better chance competing with the Nets than trying to stop Giannis.
I get what you mean though, because the defense on the Nets is non-existent. Right. People are talking about the Bulls defense.
They're just going to score, right? Everybody's just going to score,
right? So, in order for that to happen, Zach LaVine needs to be an MVP candidate this year, top 5, getting some votes. I think the MVP voting goes 5 deep, maybe even 10.
Hey, we should definitely place some Box Out Boys betting money on Zach LaVine to be MVP. It's plus 5. It's plus 5,000.
5,000. That would be a great. That's like a Leicester City, kind of odds there.
You just kind of throw something at it. But yeah. Continue. Yes, Zach LaVine definitely has to be an MVP candidate.
MVP. Kobe White. Maybe I don't know if you have the betting up for like 6-man, but Kobe White and Alex Caruso both have to be top 5 within 6-man of the year voting as well. And that's not that happens like all the time. I feel like Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams. And Lonzo Ball is the most improved player of the year, which is my prediction for most improved player coming into the season. I really feel good after in preseason with that pick right now. And then we got LaVine, Lonzo, and Vucevic are all all-stars. Notice I left out DeMar. DeMar still has to be, capable, and I think he will be. But anyways, and then my favorite one is that Patrick Williams turns into Kawhi Leonard in the 2013 NBA Finals. So 2013, specifically 2013, because in 2013 they lost. So this is before Kawhi really became, who he is now. He really became Kawhi in 2014. In 2013, people were like, "Who's this guy?" You just saw LeBron. I remember there was a moment in that Finals where LeBron would see Kawhi come back into the game and go, "God damn it! Like I gotta go up against this guy again." Yeah. And everyone's like, "Wait, who? What? Kawhi?" All right, and then it's like, all right, here's Kawhi. And like, ever since then, it's like, all right, this is it. So Patrick Williams can turn into that version of Kawhi. There's a lot of good things that could happen with the Bulls. So what of those do you think are, I don't know, where do you want to take this? Least likely, most likely to happen.
So you asked Kobe White, so odds for 6-man. So Kobe White is plus 1,600 for 6-man of the year. That is tied with Tyrese Halliburton from the Kings, Goran Dragic from the Raptors, and Derrick Rose.
That's too high. Those aren't good odds. I don't like those odds. I'd rather pick Tyrese.
The favorite to win 6-man of the year is Jordan Clarkson again. Then Kevin Huerter, Patty Mills, Joe Ingles.
Well, Patty Mills might start now, right?
Yeah. It's possible. All right. So what has to happen? So I think the Zach LaVine MVP candidate is the absolute must out of that list of things. There's no way the Bulls are making it to the finals if he's not in conversations about being, one of the top 5 players in the league.
Like people thought Booker was good. Wait until you see Zach. Yeah.
Wait until you see Zach. Oh man, I can't wait to see Zach. It's gonna be great. The one that doesn't have to happen, I think you're spot on with Kobe and Caruso. I think Kobe has to be the guy in that second unit. I think the one that probably doesn't have to happen is Lonzo Ball is the most improved player.
Okay.
I think he can quietly go about his business and, give us like 12 a game and 8 assists and just, almost average that double a game and just really play some good defense. But I don't think strong defense on this Bulls team is going to get a lot of press. So, I could easily see him getting looked over as, potential most improved player and still being a very impactful guy to the team.
Does he have to be an all-star? So I got LaVine, Lonzo, and Vucevic as my all-stars, but I think LaVine's a lock for an all-star. Nikola would be interesting.
Yeah, I think Vooch is going to take probably the biggest step back, and I don't mean in like terms of performance. Yeah. I think he's just going to take the back in terms. I think you're going to see more of like what he is. And Chris, you've always said he's an all-you-can-have-him guy. Like nobody wanted him, and now I think we're changed our tune a little bit because he's on our team. But where he's not like the number like 1.5 option on a team, I feel like we might see some of the stuff about like why people weren't as high on Vooch, or maybe we'll see the exact opposite where he actually just is super efficient and he just gets rebounds and sets pick and rolls and just crushes it. But I could see there being a little bit of a step back in his overall stats.
I think he was in like a top 5 fantasy guy last year. And
probably, yeah.
I don't know what his rankings are so far. Draft is on Monday, but I would expect some regression too. I agree with that. And then Patrick Williams and the Kawhi Leonard, man.
Yeah, everybody keeps talking about it. I kind of just wanted to see.
Yeah, you're kind of low on Patrick. I remember like going.
I don't know if I'm low on it. I think it's just. I think everybody's really high on it, and I'm just kind of even keeled on everything with him so far. I want to see some confidence. Like I don't care if his skills have improved this year. I just want to see more consistent confidence from him, and I think that would help me buy in. Yeah. He seems just a little timid, and I think the pressure is there for him. So I just want to see him kind of buck some of that pressure and just go for it.
All right, second question. Maybe this will be the last. We'll see what we got here. What if? And this is a segment that I kind of want to continue on. So if you guys have like what if topics, I think this would be fun to bring into the pod. But this is the one that's like kind of really. We can talk about like what if for the future. So we just talk about the future with the Bulls. Kind of talk about the past here, with Katie's foot behind the line, in that Nets series against the Bucks. What if his foot's behind the line? They make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and I wanted to talk about this because my take on this is. They make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. The Nets do. They go up against the Atlanta Hawks, and they lose to the Atlanta Hawks in 6 games. This is because Katie went monster bonkers in Milwaukee, playing every single minute those last two games. And I think he said like 3 minutes, right? Like most of that series. So I don't think he can do that again. The Hawks got so many guys with Bogdanovich. Cam Reddish was doing some work down, there. Kevin Huerter was coming to his own. Like they just had so many guys, and Joe Harris was just non-existent. So, and Harden was hurt. I think the Nets had nothing left.
Like, it's almost like the scenario where, like the Bulls, right? So it would have been, hey, we're just going to forgo the defense here, and we're just going to try and outscore you. And like you said, at that point, the Nets would have been completely cashed. The Hawks were firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I honestly believe that the Hawks would have made it to the finals. That's my point here.
I think you're right.
Man, and then and that would further solidify Trae Young's MVP superstar status.
Yep.
Making Tyus' jersey even look better than it already does. The only zag from the Hawks then is the Suns, I think, match up better with the Hawks.
Yeah.
And God, they would beat them.
That would have been a fun series to watch from a casual fan standpoint, but I feel like that would have been one of those on the list of like, do you ever remember that the Atlanta Hawks and the Suns played in this finals?
Yeah.
You just would have kind of forgot
Like,
about
what?
it. Like, oh, okay.
And lastly, I think DeAndre Ayton would have gotten his money. It's kind of a
His
weird
bag. Yeah.
he would have gotten his bag. He wouldn't have gotten beat up by Giannis. He would have beaten up Clint Capella.
Giannis destroyed him.
It was
He literally took his championship and his money.
And his money, man.
And then went to Chick-fil-A with it and bought 50 chicken minis.
That's amazing. That was like $150 million of influencer content, free influencer content by Chick-fil-A for Chick-fil-A. Is insane. Anyways, so yeah, that's kind of cool. We're on like the same page there. If anyone else has any deferring ideas on this or any what if topics, let us know. Lastly, because I think it's going to go quick as well. What if AD, Jamal Murray, Mike Conley, and Kawhi Leonard do not get hurt in the West? How does that kind of play out? For the most part, it kind of, Donovan Mitchell, more power to him, but he believes if Mike Conley wasn't injured, he would have beaten the Clippers and won the championship. And that's kind of the mindset you got to have going into it, I suppose. But man, if Kawhi Leonard is not hurt, I'm just going to go through it here. Lakers beat the Suns in round 1. Lakers then beat the Nuggets. Clippers meet the Lakers in Western Conference Finals. And seeing how the Clippers play without Kawhi, Clippers win this series and they win the championship. Everyone's healthy. Clippers are the best team last year. Hands down, they win it all. In the West, at least. I don't want to count the Nets here, but I wanted to go Lakers, but man, the Clippers just looked so good. Terrence Mann just signed 2 years, 22. And yeah, that's why I got here. Joey, I'm assuming you're going to agree with me on this one, but
I actually do agree with you on this one. I think the Clippers, they were up and down all season, but they played pretty well without Kawhi, so I think you throw him back in that mix. Him and Paul George were having to go, and even this year, a lot of people are saying the Clippers are kind of one of those sneaky high pick teams in the West. I've heard a lot of people say that Paul George is going to have kind of a Pacers-like season. We're going to have Pacer Paul back, I guess you could say. So yeah, I think you're spot on here. I think that all works out. The Lakers definitely beat the Suns in round 1 with AD. I think they beat the Nuggets still. Yeah, the Clippers beat the Lakers. Yeah, I'm in. I like it. I would love to see. I'm happy the Bucks won, but I think you might be right that the Clippers would have actually won the championship here.
I agree with you on that. The way the season played out, even though it was a little messy and there's a lot of injuries, and I wish that always didn't happen. We had a very entertaining NBA Finals, and that just shows us what's going to happen in the future with all these deep teams and how much talent there's in this league right now. So good time to start a pod. I'm excited to get this thing rolling next week.
Start a pod. We're in season 2.
We're on season 2, episode 34 here. 34. This is insane. Like,
we're crushing it.
Ridiculous that we've done it this long. But anything else you want to touch on tonight, Joe?
I've got nothing. How are you? Good?
I'm good. I want to do picks, but we gotta have Titus here for picks.
We gotta have Titus for picks. We gotta have him.
Join the whiskey of Tennessee, or that's Louisville. Whatever.
Yep.
He's enjoying Tennessee, whatever he's doing down there with his 10-year wife.
He's enjoying Jack Daniels is Tennessee, right? There you go. He's getting some JD.
I'm
gonna try it.
All right,
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Well, that'll just do it for us tonight. Thanks to those who tuned in live to us on Twitch and YouTube. We can say this now. Join us next week. We're going back to every week starting next week, so we'll be on. We'll be on a little bit later next week, I think. We're coming on after the Bulls game. So the Bulls are on at 6 o'clock on Wednesday against the Pistons. So we'll be on right when that game ends, 8:30, somewhere around there. So join us next week for NBA basketball talk. Follow us on Twitter at The Box Out Boys, Instagram at The Box Out Boys, and slide into those DMs. Catch us live on Twitch and now YouTube every Wednesday around 8 o'clock Central. Email us those questions at theboxoutboys@gmail.com. And as always, like, subscribe, and review wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, box out.
Yes. Bye, y'all.